And still with our focus on Sydney, a moving memorial service has been held at Bondi Beach exactly 1 week since that terror attack at the iconic site at the start of the festival of Hanukkah. One of the young people wounded during that terror shooting was Yaakov Yanki Super, a volunteer with the emergency response organization Hatzalah. He is still being treated in hospital after having several operations. Yanki's father, David, lit one of the menorah candles at today's ceremony on the final day of the 8-day festival. And so we welcome David Super from Sydney. Thank you so much for joining us. So many emotions on this day. One can only imagine. How did it feel to be part of the ceremony today as your son Yankee recovers in hospital?
It's kind of a bit strange. We didn't really have too much time to think about it while everything was happening, while we weren't sure how our son was doing, while other people were being buried. But now that he's seeming to come kind of towards recovery, he might be released from hospital, hopefully, please God, in the next couple of days. And now it's kind of, now you have more time to replay it in your head, and you tend to, I don't know, I was told this is common to, I replay what it would have been like at his funeral if he hadn't made it. And it's morbid and it's sad, but you try not to do it, but it happens sometimes.
And David, how is Yankee doing? I understand he's had several surgeries this past week alone.
So he was shot in the left shoulder. The shrapnel then went into his right lung, which collapsed. Also broke his 8th rib, apparently. But that's all healing. He had the bullet taken out on the first night by a young Jewish doctor. It was actually, if you want to hear the story, so he went into when he came into surgery. The doctor looks at him and he says, "What's your name?" And he says, "Yankee." And the doctor says, "My name is Levi Yitzchak." And Yankee was very happy to hear that. And anyway, so he then went under the knife, I guess you could call it. And then when he after a few hours later, when they reduced the sedation and he woke up, his first question was, "What happened to Rabbi Eli Schlanger?" Because he heard that he was very badly off and he didn't know who had died, and we had to tell him that he didn't make it, unfortunately, and it was pretty sad. So he had the original operation. A few days later, he had a second operation, and 2 days later, a third operation, and looks like the operations, thank God, have come to the end. And he still has a lot of shrapnel in his back, but apparently it's quite normal. They just leave it and it just stays there, and some pieces might come out by themselves under the skin, and then they just do a small procedure to remove them, but it's not worth actually removing them. But his state of mind, I think, is good. He wants to get back to his friends and to his Hatzalah volunteering, and that's just the kind of boy he is.
So, David, tell us more about how it felt to be at this ceremony. Should be a time of celebration, but now the community is grieving, it's processing, it's recovering, and it's working to heal. Tell us more.
It kind of makes you realize there were so many people who ended up losing loved ones that, however perverse it sounds, we were the lucky ones. So it's a little bit weird, but other people had it so much worse, and so we just thank God that Yankee's recovering. One thing, when the Prime Minister came in, apparently he'd asked to speak, and the organisers refused to let him speak. And when he came in, the crowd started booing him. He had a lot of police and security. Apparently, they've never seen him with so much security around. Amongst the Jewish community, he's one of the 3 most unpopular politicians. So it's not going well for him. He's from the latest Labor side of politics, but it's really not a Labor or Conservative issue, because the local state premier, who's also a Labor politician, he got a standing ovation. So it's just Jewish community's perception of what he's done. I think it had a lot to do with recognition of Palestine. Every time something happens, he talks about Islamophobia and kind of, one of the social justice far lefties, and the Jewish community are just totally sick of that.
And to that point, David, how is the Jewish community feeling right now after a terror attack like this during a festival? Families just wanting to celebrate. How are you feeling as a father, and what is your sense of how the community is feeling right now?
I think the community is feeling extremely betrayed. They've been telling the politicians, especially the far left who is in charge now, and they've been telling them this was going to happen if they allow the anti-Semitism, if they allow the globalize the Intifada and kill the Zionists and death to the IDF. They allowed all of this, and now someone took it literally, and now many Jews believe the government has blood on their hands, and we'll see. Some people don't think the Prime Minister is going to outlast us, but we'll see what happens. He's definitely not a popular fella.
And David, many watching across the globe are still in shock. How is the Jewish community feeling right now? Have you received support from communities all over the world? What is your sense?
Yes, I think we have. My son has got messages from all over the place, and different communities have contacted us, and I think there's a lot of coming together. And I know us Jews, we occasionally have a difference or two, but I think when something like this happens, everyone comes together and realizes that we might be an argumentative family, but we're pretty much one family.
Thank you so much, David Super. May your son Yankee have a speedy recovery, a refuah shlema, as we say here. And we thank you so much for speaking to us on I24 News.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your interest. Bye-bye.